Religion in Australia, 2016. Religion percent Christianity. Total 52.1% Catholic, 22.6% other Christian, 16.3% Anglican, 13.3% Islam, 2.6% Buddhism, 2.4% Hinduism, 1.9% Sikhism, 0.5% Judaism, 0.4% other, 0.4% no religion, 30.1% undefined or not stated, 9.7% Australia has no state religion. Section 116 of the Australian Constitution prohibits the federal government from making any law to establish any religion, impose any religious observance, or prohibit the free exercise of any religion. In the 2016 census, 52.1% of Australians were counted as Christian, including 22.6% as Catholic and 13.3% as Anglican. 30.1% of the population reported having no religion. 8.2% identify with non-Christian religions, the largest of these being Islam, 2.6%, followed by Buddhism, 2.4%, Hinduism, 1.9%, Sikhism, 0.5%, and Judaism, 0.4%. The remaining 9.7% of the population did not provide an adequate answer. Those who reported having no religion increased from 19% in 2006 to 22% in 2011 to 30.1% in 2016. Australia has one of the lowest levels of religious adherence in the world. In 2018, 13% of women and 10% of men reported attending church at least weekly. The animist beliefs of Australia's Indigenous people have been practiced for many thousands of years. Mainland Aboriginal Australian spirituality is known as the dreaming, and it places a heavy emphasis on belonging to the land. The collection of stories that it contains shaped Aboriginal law and customs. Aboriginal art, story and dance continue to draw on these spiritual traditions. The spirituality and customs of Torres Strait Islanders, who inhabit the islands between Australia and New Guinea, reflected their Melanesian origins and dependence on the sea. Since European settlement in 1788, Christianity has been the largest religion practiced in Australia. Christian churches have played an integral role in the development of education, health and welfare services in Australia. The largest Christian denominations are the Roman Catholic Church and the Anglican Church of Australia. Multicultural immigration since the Second World War has led to Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, Sikhism and Judaism growing in Australia over the past half-century. Healthcare in Australia. Australia's life expectancy is the fourth highest in the world for males and the third highest for females. Life expectancy in Australia in 2014-2016 was 80.4 years for males and 84.6 years for females. Australia has the highest rates of skin cancer in the world, while cigarette smoking is the largest preventable cause of death and disease, responsible for 7.8% of the total mortality and disease. Ranked second in preventable causes is hypertension at 7.6%, with obesity third at 7.5%. Australia ranked 35th in the world in 2012 for its proportion of obese women and near the top of developed nations for its proportion of obese adults. 63% of its adult population is either overweight or obese. Total expenditure on health, including private sector spending, is around 9.8% of GDP. Australia introduced universal health care in 1975. Known as Medicare, it is now nominally funded by an income tax surcharge known as the Medicare levy, currently at 2%. The states manage hospitals and attached outpatient services, while the Commonwealth funds the pharmaceutical benefits scheme, subsidizing the costs of medicines and general practice. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Australia had one of the most restrictive quarantine policies, resulting in one of the lowest death rates worldwide. Education. In Australia, 5 Australian universities rank in the top 50 of the QS World University Rankings, including the Australian National University, 19th. School attendance, or registration, for homeschooling is compulsory throughout Australia. Education is the responsibility of the individual states and territories, so the rules vary between states, but in general children are required to attend school from the age of about 5 until about 16. In some states, for example, Western Australia, the Northern Territory and New South Wales, children aged 16-17 are required to either attend school or participate in vocational training, such as an apprenticeship. Australia has an adult literacy rate that was estimated to be 99% in 2003. However, a 2011-2012 report for the Australian Bureau of Statistics reported that Tasmania has a literacy and numeracy rate of only 50%. Australia has 37 government-funded universities and 3 private universities, as well as a number of other specialist institutions that provide approved courses at the higher education level. The OECD places Australia among the most expensive nations to attend university. There is a state-based system of vocational training known as TAFE, and many trades conduct apprenticeships for training new tradespeople. About 58% of Australians aged from 25 to 64 have vocational or tertiary qualifications, and the tertiary graduation rate of 49% is the highest among OECD countries. 30.9% of Australia's population has attained a higher education qualification, which is among the highest percentages in the world. Australia has the highest ratio of international students per head of population in the world, by a large margin, with 812,000 international students enrolled in the nation's universities and vocational institutions in 2019. Accordingly, in 2019, international students represented on average 26.7% of the student bodies of Australian universities. International education, therefore, represents one of the country's largest exports and has a pronounced influence on the country's demographics, with a significant proportion of international students remaining in Australia after graduation on various skill and employment visas.